Okay, we're going to be doing some self-myofascial release on the posterior shoulder here. So we're going to show this first using a trigger point ball, and we like to use the ball on this one because we like that small surface area to work on these little areas in the back side of the shoulder. So where we're going to be working with this ball is, if you look at your scapula here, we're going to be working right over top the infraspinatus and the rotator cuff here, but then also exploring this region here into the back side of the deltoid. Okay, so we're going to set this up. We're going to set our trigger point ball on the ground here, and we're going to lay in a position that's going to allow us to put pressure right through those areas that I just showed. So gentle pressure through here. Now we don't need to really dig in there, it's going to be pretty sensitive. What we can do here is stack our shoulders right on top of each other to get a lot of good pressure through there. And now to actively release this, what we'll do is we're going to bring the arm up to 90, and we're going to work into internal and external rotation, going back and forth, nice and slow there. And a nice trigger point release for the rotator cuff. Now what we can do also is straighten the elbow and kind of work across our body with a cross body stretch here as well. So again, working that ball into a couple different areas, in the posterior shoulder, along the back side of the rotator cuff. So there's your self-myofascial release for the posterior shoulder. So now if we don't have a trigger point ball available, we can do the same thing using a foam roller. Now the surface area is going to be a little bit bigger on this, so we have to make sure we set it up properly. So we'll set the foam roller up on the ground at a slight angle here, and we're going to have it positioned right through that area along the back side of the rotator cuff into the posterior shoulder. And we can do the same release. Now, what you don't want to necessarily do is allow the elbow to drop too far down to the ground, so you can manipulate the foam roll to give your elbow a little bit of support as well, sort of like this. Okay. So again, we recommend using a trigger point ball, and if you don't have a trigger point ball, you can always use a lacrosse ball, a baseball, even a tennis ball will work to get into those fine little points of the shoulder.